Hi, my name is Andrea Pena, and I'm going to be talking about the cow eye dissection lab assignment that we did as part of our anatomy and physiology lab. Okay, so I included this little brief video of me prepping the eye, so I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. So in this video, I am essentially just washing out the eye from the original casing that I got the eyeball in. Making sure that it doesn't have any excess liquid or anything like that. And then I just removed the eye from the packaging. As you can see in the video, not very happy about that. It is definitely a feeling that is not normal. That, sometimes I get a little squeamish with that. But in that picture, I'm also very happy to be partaking in this assignment. Okay, so in the first portion of the lab, in this video, I am cutting off the cornea portion of the eye. This is after I trim off all the fat and the extra muscles from the eye, just so that I'm able to get a clearer view of the anatomy of the eye. So in this section right here, you can see the sclera, which is that outer white portion. Then to the left of the eyeball, there's a little piece sticking out. That's going to be the optic nerve, which is basically what connects the eye to the that goes into the brain. It's also known as a cranial nerve too. This is what transmits visual impulses from the retina to the thalamus. The sclera, like I mentioned before, is just this outer white layer. This is where the eye muscles basically anchor onto the eye so that you have movement going on. And then that cornea portion, which I removed earlier, that's the part of the light bending apparatus. It's transparent anterior portion of the eye, and it's like right in front of your eye right here. Fun fact, it's the only tissue in the body that can be transplanted with little to no risk of rejection, and that's just because there are like no blood vessels in that area, and therefore no correlation to the immune system. Alright, so right after that, I essentially dissected the eye into posterior and anterior segments. So right here I have the anterior segment with that retina and the lens showing. This black opaque area, that's going to be the posterior segment of the eye. Both segments actually have different types of liquids. So the anterior portion of the eye has the aqueous humor. That's like a clear fluid that is continuously formed and drained within the eye. So that fluid essentially brings the lens and the cornea oxygen and nutrients that it needs, and then it also gets rid of any metabolic waste, and it helps maintain intraocular pressure. In the posterior portion of the eye is the vitreous humor. This has more of like a jelly-like substance to it, and it doesn't form and drain. It's actually formed at birth, and it lasts the entire lifetime, so it doesn't regenerate. It does hold the retina in place. In this picture, you can see the retina. It's kind of bunched up a little bit at the back. It's like that white, cloudy substance that looks like it's back there. I actually accidentally kind of pushed the retina during the experiment, but essentially the retina goes all around this posterior portion of the eye, and the vitreous humor is what holds that in place against the posterior portion of the eye, and that is what it also transmits light and helps maintain intraocular pressure as well. So here in this video, it's going to show me cutting open those portions. And then I do actually show, you can't really tell with the anterior portion of the eye, the liquid coming out, but there is some liquid that spills out because that's the more fluid-like substance. And then that back portion of the eye, as you can see, still holding that retina up at that portion. It's very jelly-like, and then I actually touch it with my fingers so it shows that it's pretty squishy. Okay, and then now that we have that separated again, I'm just going to go over some of the anatomy portions of that. So the back of the eye is the optic disc. That is where the optic nerve leaves the eye. So the retina actually kind of surrounds that optic disc area, and yeah, again, it's where the optic nerve leaves the eye. The retina portion of the eye is going to be that black portion right around that center white area. The retina contains, I'm sorry, the retina is back here. I got confused. I'm sorry. The retina is going to be back in that bunched up little area. That's where I kind of, when I was messing with the vitreous humor, I kind of scraped it around, so it kind of got bunched up there. But the retina is what contains the rods and the cones, and it plays a huge role in vision by processing light. That's in the posterior portion of the eye. The sclera, again, is that outer whitemost layer, and it protects the eye and gives it shape. And then the choroid, which you can't really tell, but it's a layer, it basically surrounds right behind the retina. It's the dark brown membrane that helps absorb light to prevent it from scattering inside the eye and bouncing around. Just not, it allows us to process whatever we're seeing, takes the light and process it into a visual aid, and it helps provide the retina with blood and nutrients. And then in this video that I'm showing, it's going to be me essentially removing the iris and the lens from the eyeball itself, from the sclera. Everything is separated. This was really tricky to get taken apart because the layer is so thin, but it was really cool to kind of peel that layer off. And yeah, I'll show you the video of what that looks like. Yeah, so that's me taking off that retina portion and showing the choroid at the very back of the eye, and then here's me removing the iris and the lens. Again, so that was me showing the choroid, which is that black blue iridescent color. That is also very efficient for night vision in cows specifically, because they have really great night vision. It doesn't look like that in humans. Humans don't have that iridescent background, but in cows they do have that. So in that first portion of the video, that was me kind of scraping away the retina on accident. I was moving it around trying to get the vitreous humor out, and then that other portion was me taking off the lens and the iris. So fun fact, unequal curvatures in the lens or retina can cause blurred images to occur, and that's known as astigmatism. So when you have your lens, which is essentially what takes in the light, allows it to bend and then process through, and that's where you get like your focusing from. So when you're nearsighted or farsighted, it's when your lens is basically either pushed or pulled in a way where you're not able to get that image directly back into that optic nerve area, and so you just don't have great vision. But when there are unequal curvatures in the lens, it causes astigmatism. Yeah, so again, your lens is a transparent structure that changes shape to focus specific amounts of light on the retina. And then your iris is, that's the most anterior portion of the eye, and it's the colored portion of the eye, so that's where you get blue, green, brown eyes, black eyes, and it has smooth muscles that allow the pupil to change sizes and dilate or constrict, and those either turn in or kind of go out like that. So yeah, here in this picture you can see that choroid, you could see some of the sclera on the outside, you can see the lens, the iris, and then you can see the cornea as well. And when I actually touched the lens, it was a very dense feeling, definitely different from the vitreous humor. Really cool. Okay, so how is this helpful for us today? So cow eye dissections are very similar, or cow eye structures are very similar to the anatomy that we have as in our human eyes. So they're used very frequently by med students or just students in general who want to learn about eye anatomy and structure. Cow eyes are also used to find new ways to fight glaucoma in human eyes. So there's a page. I'm sorry, I didn't include the actual web page, but if you click on this, it's going to take you to a link that will essentially show you how people use studies in order to find out how we can treat glaucoma in human eyes, because the anatomy is similar in cow eyes as well. Cows actually tend to get glaucoma a lot too. And then also, cow eyes are also used to find ways to remove foreign bodies from the cornea in humans. So again, like mentioned before, cow eye dissections or cow eyes in general are very similar to human eyes, and so it's easier for us to kind of, I guess, experiment on cow eyes just because they're a little bit more readily available, and then we're able to use them so that when we have any issues with human eyes, in the medical field, we've done dissections or, remove foreign bodies from their cornea, and therefore we're able to kind of transfer it to human eyes. And then I have a faith reflection. So in the Bible, it does talk in Matthew 6:22-23 about how the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. Kind of essentially the same way that when we take in light from our eyes, it's healthy. If our eyes are healthy, we're able to process light and able to basically see what's in front of us. You know, essentially the same way that if our eyes are unhealthy, if our eyes are unable to take in light, we're not going to be able to see anything. We're going to be blind to it. So this is kind of the same way like how sin is in our body. So when we live a sinful life, our life is full of darkness. Whereas if we turn to Christ, He is the light, and so we're able to kind of wash away our sins and be cleansed from that darkness, and essentially be able to be in the light, which is Jesus Christ. And then I also really like this verse in Psalms 34:8 that says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." It's just really cool also that we have eyes that are able to see God's creation. I included this picture of a national park because I just think that national parks are beautiful. I love going to see all the parks and just nature in general. It's really amazing to see God's creation, and super cool that we're able to have vision and just our eyes, and how each portion of our eye is very specific and works together as a whole in order for us to be able to see things and process things. Even when we don't have the best vision, I am super nearsighted, and so yeah, I don't have the best vision, but thankfully, we have scientists that have created contacts and glasses that help us to be able to still see these wonderful things that God has created. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation. I had a really good time dissecting the cow eye. It was fun and interesting, and I hope to continue this in my next studies. Thank you.